Hello everyone, this is Maria from mariascraftingcorner.com. Welcome to another pre-recorded video. I decided I want to do a video to upload every Sunday, and I'm going to call it Simple Stamping Sunday. There are a lot of cards that I want to do and I want to share with you that I just simply don't have time to do. Really, I like lives because I don't have to edit the video, but I am just hoping that these cards are less busy and I will be able to make a quick video. So I am really shooting for a 30-minute, 40-minute video that I, again, will just upload on Sundays. So let's give this a try. Sounds good? Let's see. The first thing I want to share with you guys is the paper pumpkin kit that is coming in September. This is absolutely gorgeous. I think if you are not a paper pumpkin kit subscriber, this is a good time to subscribe. It has a gorgeous add-on that I will show you here in a minute. I have it around. And I think that it's really like worth it. It's for the price. It's just an amazing way to get cards done, sometimes paper crafts, because this one is not necessarily only cards. And anyways, paper pumpkin kit is something that I think you will enjoy, so don't hesitate to get it on time, or to subscribe to it on time. The last day to subscribe for September's paper pumpkin kit will be the 10th, because they all chip on the 11th. So there's that. If you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, please allow me to be your demonstrator. I would love to spoil you with all the things, my reward system and everything. And so just, send me an email. Send me an email to Maria and mariascraftingcorner.com, or just go to my blog, which is mariascraftingcorner.com, and you can absolutely check out my store and the rewards and get some of the stuff that we're going to be using today. So this is more of a simple card, but I just think it's gorgeous. What can I do? And I am using Stampin' Up's about to release All About Autumn suite. Sorry guys, my brain is somewhere else. It has the most gorgeous paper. I know I already did a kind of paper reveal, but if you have not seen it, I just want to show it very quickly. It has glorious paper on the back, so we call this a specialty paper, and just some beautiful, beautiful pictures on the front. It may not be necessarily pictures. This is kind of the picture of texture of fabric, or look at that one. So this is gorgeous paper. It brings another specialty paper that, guys, I'm sorry, but I already used most of it, and so I don't have a big enough piece to show off. It brings us these glorious gems. They are called speckled dots, and I don't know if you can tell if I put this closer, but they have some little, like, almost looks like sparkle on them. They are really beautiful. The suite also brings two ribbons together. They are sold together. This one is completely shiny and coppery, and it's very beautiful. And this one is just a really, really thick kind of, I don't even know how to call this. If it is a fabric, it's this kind of fabric that really, like, you can play with this a little bit. I have not used, and I mentioned that on a video before, I have not used fabric this thick, but it may be, really cool, and it's something new to learn. These also bring, let me bring it up for you here, a embossing folder. If you don't know what an embossing folder is, you'll see it here in action in a minute. You just put your paper in here and run it through what we call a die cut / embossing machine. If you're new to paper crafting, the machine may be something that you want to invest, because it will take your crafting to a whole other level. You don't need to get 20 embossing folders, but with a couple, you're pretty much set, and they tend to be pretty cheap compared to. Now, the stamp set is this one. And I love the leaves. I love the fonts. I love the little fonts in here, the little sentiments. I love them. And it also brings a set of dies. So very, very beautiful dies, right? That you will use with that embossing machine. So let's get started. I am going to use a very simple recipe, kind of. So this is our regular card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5. I have 8 pieces of our rose gold foil, which matches very, very, very beautiful against this color. And then I have another piece of that, one of those beautiful specialty papers. This specialty paper in this color, I'm sorry, this color is called Moody Mauve if you're new to Stampin' Up. And this is the same color. Now, if you're new to Stampin' Up, it is the leading provider or the leading stamping company in the industry when it comes to color coordination. So when it says it's Moody Mauve, it's Moody Mauve, and you can totally tell it's exactly the same color, right? There's no second guessing about which color is which. But I think that even though this is copper, it really matches okay with these rose gold foil. Right? I think so. The last piece we're going to use is one piece of that beautiful paper. This has those gorgeous leaves, but as you can tell, it has like a lighter color in that Moody Mauve. And so I am going to use a piece of this. Now, what's going to be the star of the show? The star of the show is going to be a piece of white that we are going to put on top of here with one of these leaves. This is one of the dies I showed you with one of these leaves like that. And so the leaf will be like an opening to the leaves as a background. And I think it's just going to look gorgeous. We're just going to use products from these suite. So let's get started. Okay, so this is already cut. But I am going to score these, so I'm going to line the longer side to the top of the trimmer, and that is 8.5. And the half of 8.5 is 4.25. And I'm going to score that and fold. Now I have already cut these pieces, these 2 pieces, because I didn't see the need for me to keep them. To cut them here with you. This is just 1/8 smaller. Each of them is just 1/8 smaller. But don't worry, because all those measurements will be linked in the description below. And you will have some extra, another card that I made just to show you this. Now the easiest way to, let me bring my bone folder. So if you're new to crafting, a bone folder, a take your pick, and a trimmer to me are the most basic tools of crafting. I think that my life completely changed once I bought this trimmer. So we're going to use Stampin' Seal Plus. You can use whatever adhesive you have. I use the Stampin' Seal Plus for a couple of reasons. One of them is because it's very, very fast to use when I'm on a live or on a video, right? There's no wasting time in here. And it's a very good adhesive. So I am just centering this as best as I can. I have done this for a while now, guys, and so kind of like having a knife for that 1/8 is very easy to me. What I'm trying to say is, if you're new, just give yourself some time and some grace, right? And practice. Don't use the beautiful paper to practice. Use your like old cardstock or whatever to practice. But that's my advice to use. Practice, 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 and use templates and use other things to make it easier for you. Now, I always extend my card base because it's easier for me, again, make it easier for you to just see this, to make it center this in here. And again, this is just 1/8 smaller, so I'm just, kind of making the most out of it. And look, I made a mistake that did not work very well. We are going to undo this as best as I can. Haha, it worked because I didn't push, so I'm glad. And I am going to move this here closer to here. So making sure again that it's centered, and I managed to get that. You see, nobody's perfect. You just go with the flow and make it happen. So this is ready. We're going to put that aside, and I'm going to bring what I told you guys about the embossing machine. So So if you're new to stamping, into Stampin' Up, the embossing machine brings the plates. Okay, so it brings these two plates that you use most of the time, and then these are very used. I'm sorry, I should get another one. These other two plates that you will sandwich stuff in, and we're going to use all the plates in here. It also brings these other plates, a number 4 plate that we just use when we are using what we call 3D embossing folders. And this folder that I show you, this embossing folder, is a 3D embossing folder. Okay, so we'll need to use the gray one. Now, when you are going to do what we're going to do here, which is cut or die cut and emboss, do the die cutting first, because that way, if you do the embossing first, what's going to happen is all that oh my god, I'm thinking Spanish, all that dimension that comes from the folder is not the word I'm looking for, but all that dimension will kind of be squished in, and you're going to see it less. So I think I'll show you once we do this together. You'll see what I'm saying. I am just putting this. This seems to be a little bit dirty, so it's okay. I think. Is it dirty? I don't know. This piece is about half an inch smaller. Maybe half an inch is a quarter of an inch or half an inch smaller than the previous layer. But again, those measurements will be down below. And I am just trying to align these, like it's kind of centered, and I am going to put it towards the bottom. And I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, and you're not. So here's my little piece. Here's my little die, and I'm just putting it up here, but towards the bottom, because that leaves me some space in the upper part to put a sentiment. This is a very, very used piece of Post-it. I am going to bring another one because I don't even think that's going to be able to hold. I get these in Amazon. They are linked below if you're interested. It's the easiest way to hold your dies in place. I actually tend to use 2. Just to hold it in place, especially with this thinner kind of Post-it tape. There are some that is bigger. I actually can show you that. I like the thicker better. Okay, so I'm going to put those back out. We're going to sandwich this friend in here into these 2 plates. Into these 2 plates. So we have the thick plate. I'm just doing this in case you don't know. The thick plate, the big plate, it has a big one. Then we're putting number 2, which is backwards. Let's put it in the right way. Number 2. And then whatever you're going to cut is going to go between both number 3s. Okay? I do need to get a new set of this. And I am just going to run this. This is a good, really good arm exercise, arm workout. Now I'm going to remove this back out here. I'm going to remove my plates because we're not going to use these 3 plates again. So I'm just going to put them away out of our crafting table. And let me show you how beautiful this looks. Once it's cut, it's perfect there. Don't get rid of that because we're going to use that here in a minute. Now, here comes the other piece. So I am putting this back in here. I am bringing my embossing folder. Where it says Stampin' Up, that's the front. So your piece needs to go sandwich here, and these will be the front. Okay, so just be mindful of that. It has the Stampin' Up there. I'm going to put this in here, and now I bring this plate that has a big number 4. It's hard to see. There it goes. And we are going to run it again through the embossing machine. Die cut embossing machine. I'm going to move this out of the way because we don't need it anymore. And I want to move the whole machine because we don't need it. And my little thingy kind of fell off, and that's very sad. So hopefully it kind of stays there. Okay, so let me tell you what I meant. So if you see all that dimension, can you see it? Yeah, it's here. So if you put it on the back, then you will still get the pattern, but the dimension, it's down. I don't know how to explain it better, but I think you can see it. So this you can feel that dimension. If you do it here, you will not feel it. Okay, so I'm going to put this out of the way. And we're going to bring this piece of paper, and I'm just going to really kind of look where which part of the paper I want. And I want some of those big leaves, of those moody mauve leaves, let's gonna call them like that way. So that means that I'm just figuring out where I want to cut. And I think I want this corner. And I'm gonna bring my trimmer back. And what I am going to do here, so it's really, I know that this piece is, and I want to tell you here, I want to say it's 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, right? So I need to cut whatever it is. So this, which is my area, my corner that I wanted. Guys, I lost it. I think this corner, I need to cut it smaller, a little bit smaller, right? So because this is such a beautiful paper and I don't want to misuse a lot of it, I am going to go ahead and cut these at probably 3 and 3 3/8 right there. Okay, because this is going to be enough, I sure hope. And if it's not, oof, barely enough, guys. Look at that. That was a super close call. But it's good enough that we can see that moody mauve. And I'm just going to cut this a little bit here. And I'm around 4. So let's go ahead and move these beautiful pieces out of the way. I'm just trying not to utilize all that paper with, I'm just being mindful because it's so beautiful. Okay, so again, this is like super tight. I don't know if you can tell. Let me see. You will not be able to tell. It's super tight on this corner because these will kind of float by. So I think we'll be fine. And if we feel that that is too short, maybe. Let's see. I may have cut this too short. Being stingy. That's never a good advice when you are crafting. Don't be stingy. I am going to go ahead and try to face it, and let's see. It may be easier to see if we really need to not cut another piece. I think I'm going to go and wing it, guys. So it's right there. I can see there's a little bit of here, and there's like, I don't know, tiny bits. And what I'm going to do really, because I want this not to move, I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't mess it up. I'm going to hold it with both hands, guys, and I'm going to put the glue in here like that, right? And so that way I know that it's still holding in the place it needs to hold, and it'll be perfectly okay, or I hope it's going to be perfectly okay. Now this glue, for whatever reason, it's being unreasonable today. So I'm going to try to put a little bit more glue using these this is called a fine tip glue pen that you can get at Stampin'Up. It brings its own glue. I love these to use it just in small areas. So what I do is I just refill it with our Tombow. And this is the regular glue. And I hate that this is moving, and I'm really sorry about that, guys. But I cannot remove it because unfortunately what's in the back is glass, and it really has an awful glare. Okay, but we figured that out. So this is how this is going to look. How beautiful does this look? And this is going to look amazing once you put this against this color. Okay, so let's go ahead, and Stampin'Up has something that it's called dimensionals, and we are going to use some of that just to create a little bit of kind of like elevation. I am a friend of not wasting anything, so I'm really going to use the back of those dimensionals. So this area is something that you would not use, really. Okay, I'm going to put those back in there. We sell a lot of other options that you will be able to use. I'm just going to use this to show you how easy it is to do some of these, and you don't have to spend tons and tons of dollars regarding these. Now, let me make this very clear. You absolutely don't need to put this in dimensionals, right? I am just putting that so it's kind of cute, but that's kind of it. There is no need at all for you to buy dimensionals. It is just out there for you to play with, and if you can't, you don't, and there's no big deal. No biggie. And I'm going to put the rest of them up here, and the other one right there. And what I'm going to bring is one of those already dimensionals to these two corners. Let me see, that one did not really do well, and one to the other corner. So this is not going anywhere, right? So this is going to be a little popped up if you want, and it'll just give it a little bit of interest. Now the next step, and I really wanted to try to use this because I think this will give like a really, really interesting look. Let me cut this. This is a huge piece of ribbon, guys. Like so wide. I rarely ever use ribbon anyways. So I'm just wondering if maybe if I put this in here on the top, how would that look? Right? I think it looks really, really good. If it were thinner, it would be easier for me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not used to these big things. I think I'm going to skip this. I still need some practice with that. A little bit more, guys. It's on the rough side for me. So let me... I was thinking that I do have... This is some jute trim, and we may be able to utilize this just to give a little bit of extra color here once we come up with our sentiment. I have the sentiment already in one of our blocks, which I absolutely love, and I am just going to bring a piece of paper that I think this is going to fit. It fits perfectly in there, okay? And I'm going to bring, what color should I bring? I think I'm going to keep up with the Moody Mauve. I think I'm going to bring Early Espresso. Early Espresso is a very, very dark brown. Let me show you guys. Like very, very bright, very dark. And I usually use my grit paper to test my stamp. And I'm going to go ahead, and guys, you'll probably see my big head no matter what, because it's very hard for me to stamp straight. And I am just putting this somewhere in that piece that I just have. That's just a little scrap of paper I have around. And what I'm going to do with this, guys, is I'm going to bring my trimmer back. Did I mention that it's such an useful... Let me remove that because that's like dangerous here. Very useful. So I am just measuring these. So from the beginning of that G to the edge, there's about, it looks like there's about like 5/8. So I'm going to do the same here. So I'm going to cut this a little bit there. And I think that kind of does, it does really well. So we just managed to, make this fairly even with itself. And the other thing I'm going to bring, do you remember that piece? We are, oh no, that's too small. We're going to need a bigger piece. But we're going to create a little, kind of a little background for this. So we can have some of that around. And let's see, these piece measures. This is 3 1/4, give or take. It's more than 3 1/4, but yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut one piece here. This is the way I used to do things. I'm going to put this here. Look, guys, it's very, very tight there, and that's exactly what I want. I don't know if you can tell. So this piece is 3 3/8. Okay, and so what I'm going to cut, and this measures like, seems like it measures about 3/4. So I'm going to cut this at 1, just to make it easier on me. And we're going to see if this works. So this edge is super, super, super thin. You guys can tell it's about probably about a 1/16 of an inch there. I usually don't use 16ths, but in this case, it's going to work for me on my advantage. You see how thin that is? So I never do this way. This is a little backwards. I always have my pieces cut. But since I don't have an exact amount, I'm going to glue this, center it as best as I can. I'm bringing it up here so you guys can tell, right? I have a lot of here, a lot of extra paper here. This is very centered, and I'm going to bring this up here, and I'm going to cut. I'm looking, I'm just eyeballing, and you guys can tell it's not exactly that same 16. And I'm moving to see if I can still move a little bit, but I'm okay with that. That is a good advantage. I like that. Okay, so we're going to bring this piece here, right? Do we need to cut this? It's too small and I don't want to cut it. So I'm going to leave that as is because I don't want to make a mess. Now I'm going to bring this piece of twine that we had previously. I am really not very good at making bows. If you're here being here before, you know that. But I do like having the trim around. And so if we put this like that, it's going to really look beautiful against the white. This is pretty curly. So it seems like you need to uncurl it first. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just doing some loops in here, guys. You see that? Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. And these, nope. So I'm making this bigger and I'm trying to make this loop as a little bigger too. So we have more or less the same amount. You guys can see this, right? It's pretty messy. There's no rhyme or reason to this thing. And it would not really look good if it weren't because this is going to go underneath and it's just going to be like twine out there. So what I am going to do, guys, I'm going to bring one of these and I'm going to put it on top of it. And this is what we're going to use to hold it. Okay, so this is going to hold fairly okay. I'm going to put this in here. I think that's, this is not centered. Do you see that? It's very difficult to see where the center of this thing is at. Okay, so there it goes. I think that's good enough. Centered enough. Okay, and now I'm going to put dimensionals on the sides. And we're going to use those to hold that all together. So I'm holding that there, and now we're bringing these here. Oh, I know what I'm going to do now. Actually, the other way around. We're going to glue this because that dimensional did not really get there. And I'm moving these inside this. So this works like a separator, kind of. Or maybe one up and one down. Something like that. And we're going to glue this. Not glue, adhere this, I guess. And I am just eyeballing this, but this seems to be fairly centered in spite of all the messiness we've had, huh? Okay. This is ready. These have not. This is ready. On top, we're going to remove all these little pieces. Stampin' Up! Dimensionals are amazing because their backings just melt in your fingers. I have worked with, other companies' stuff in the past before I became a demonstrator, and it's never been this easy. I'm bringing up my card base, and I am going to come back and center this as best as I can. Again, practicing makes it better. And ta-da! You have a super, super easy card. There's one little extra thing I want to do if I'm able to find what I lost. Maybe I can to do it. See, it removes. I don't know where I put it, guys. I sure hope I didn't lose my die because that would be very sad. But you can do, I usually don't do the inside, but I wanted to do the inside this time because I wanted to show you a quick trick. But I have a piece that's too small. Let me see. We are going to bring our card again, our trimmer again, and we're going to cut this at, I'm going to cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. And all those pieces are always, I always save them. Okay. Oops, there it goes. Oh my gosh, in heavens. Where did that little piece went? Remember I told you guys don't throw away the leaf because we're going to use it? Well, yes, I don't have it anymore. I don't know where I put it because there's that, right? So I'm going to bring this piece. I'm going to glue it. So this is 1/4 of an inch smaller than the card base. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing this real quick. We're going to put that there. I am going to bring another piece of this and I'm going to cut it in probably like 1/2 inch. What do I want? That's 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and I am just going to use this little piece to do as a decoration. And I am going to put one in here, and I'm going to bring another piece of that beautiful pattern, and I'm going to cut. This is going to be, I want to say 1/2. I'm thinking, no, this is going to be an inch thick. So I'm going to turn that down there, and I'm actually going to bring these, and I'm going to cut it about an inch. So this measures 4 by 3/4, and this measures 1 by, it looks 5. So we're just going to put it mix and match like that in our card here, and you'll be able to write whatever you want here, right? So I'm just going to bring, whoops, my glue again. And we're going to attach this. So I'm going to attach it all the way to the edge, leaving a little bit of that white edge out there. And then I'm going to bring the smaller piece in the other beautiful pattern, and I'm going to center it. And you can do this lower, you can do this higher. I am just going to put it like in the middle-ish. And my goal was to put like the leaf in here, but since I can't find it, I can't do. Oh, I found it, guys. No kidding. So we're going to remove this. Thankfully, I was worried about losing that die, and I always save those. And I'm going to bring one of our blending brushes. You can use daubers if you want. It kind of depends on what mood you're in, and I am just going to go really softly because the Moody Mob is quite a vibrant color, and I'm going to do something along those lines. And then I'm going to bring, you see this color is similar to something that we call Pebble Path, and so I'm going to bring some of that Pebble Path, which is kind of a dark warm gray, and I'm going to, let me see if I find one. Here is my other, and that is very, very juicy. So I'm really, really using these here to, there we go. You can tell it's super, super juicy. So I want this super softly around here, right? So we're just creating kind of like the same vibe as those leaves we saw there. And I'm bringing back my bubble bath, my Moody Mauve, without re-inking. So, I'm sure that it's not going to be like overpowering. And there we go. So it really kind of looks like those leaves. Let me see if I have a little piece here. Ah, that one does not have. Let me see. I'm going to remove this because that's disaster. See that? It's not exactly the same, but similar enough. And we are going to just put this leaf in here. And you just have this area to kind of put your little, whatever you're going to send to your friends, right? Your little note. not on that side, on the other side. Something like that. And I'm going to leave it like there on the corner, okay? I really like that. And that's your card, guys. Now, the last thing, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to bring some of these gems. And I have to say, guys, I think that I don't want to use these Moody Mauve. It seems a little bit too strong, not too strong, too much of the same color. So I'm bringing, these are Pebble Path. Remember what I was telling you guys about that awesome color combination? I think this piece is a little bit long, so let's cut it a little bit. So I'm going to bring this one, and I'm just going to put one in there, and maybe, whoops, that one got stuck somewhere else, so we'll figure that out some later. For some reason, these are super hard for me to get, because it's me always. I'm going to put this one there on that corner. That looks really beautiful, huh? And we are going to see if we can remove this one from here without any harm. Haha. And I'm just going to put this one up here, or down there actually. And that is your card. I think this card is absolutely gorgeous. It's simple. It will go in the mail, no problem. And you can make it in about 36 minutes. Okay, guys, it was super nice chatting with you and being with you today. I'm trying to see if I can get this working. It is working. I'm very proud of myself. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and to subscribe. If you like the general content of the channel, I am live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and I am live for a paper pumpkin kit alternative, usually Saturday, Friday evenings. That is a date I have not been able to nail down with my schedule. So it's kind of, it happens when it happens, guys. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed the card and you like it. And let me come back up here. And I hope to see you later in one of those other opportunities. And don't forget, Simple Sunday Stamping. No, Simple Stamping Sunday. I guess I have to work on that name, huh? It was a pleasure being with you today. Let me know in the comments if you like the card and what other colors would you make this card with. Thank you. I'm trying to figure it out. Thank you.